Hi everyone, and welcome to our Q&A Monday. So today's topic is about travel and subsistence. Actually, it's a very simple thing, very obvious, and perhaps just one line, but actually it has a lot to say. So today, I'm just going to talk about this particular expense and when you cannot claim it. When you can claim it, either you're employee, if you're self-employed, or if you run a limited company, you're the director. And of course, there are some tricks if you run your own business. If there's any some tricks that you can make your travel tax deductible. Okay, so first of all, when I'd like to say when you cannot claim travel and subsistence. So of course, either you're employee or you're a business owner and you have an office. So you have the regular commute, like you travel from home to office every day for years and months, then that is not allowed. So because that's your normal commute, that's just like personal travel. But what if you travel from your normal office to a client site temporarily? Or if you're required to travel, say you're based in London, but then you are required to travel to Manchester to stay overnight, then these travel are business journeys, so these are allowed. So basically, first thing, I think there are various situations. Of course, in my client base, like when I talk to the clients, when I assess whether or not a particular travel expense can be allowable, I will assess that client's particular situation, and then say if that's allowed or it's not. So today is just a really general guidance. I will give you some scenarios and also some sort of rules you can sort of bear in mind when it comes to assess yourself, like judge yourself. Okay, so first of all, if you're employee or if you are even if you're self-employed contractor, so if you say travel from home to one place, or in particular like a contractors, your primary base, your office base is from home, but then you do have this sort of a client, like end client that you travel to regularly to do your service. So when it is considered allowable, so if that journey has to be allowable, that has to be your normal regular, between your regular office, your primary workplace to a temporary workplace. So here there are some scenarios what considered as temporary workplace. So actually there's something I think very clear, very simple rule you can consider. That is when you do work to the temporary, like a temporary workplace, of course, if that's been happening for a long time, for a while, that might consider as permanent place as well. So what considered as temporary workplace? So first of all, you've been working there for less than 24 months. So I think that's a very straightforward rule. Say, for instance, you are the self-employed contractor and you've been working for that client for 6 months. That's under 24-month rule. But if you've been working for that client for like 3 years, even if they've been paying you to your limited company, that considered as permanent. So you cannot claim that. But under 24 months, it's okay. The second rule you consider is that's less than 40% of your working time, like working lifetime, basically. So if you've been running your like a self-employed consulting business for 3 years, but you've been having that contract for 6 months, so that is less than 40%, then that is still temporary. But then even if that's less than 40%, say you've been running your business for years and years, 24 years, 30 years, and then you've been working for one particular client for like more than 2 years, and that's still less than 40%. But then because it's more than 24 months, so that cannot be temporary as well. So temporary workplace, two numbers need to remember. One is 24, that stands for less than 24 months. The other one is 40%, so that stands for less than 40% of your working time. Okay, so that's considered temporary workplace. Either you are employee, you claim sort of employment-related travel, claim the tax rebates, or if you're self-employed. I think that both scenarios happen quite regularly for medical professionals. First of all, if you're a trainee doctor, what might happen is you probably be on rotation, like you are working on this hospital for a couple of months, working on that for a couple of months, but perhaps you're on the sort of single contract. So in that case, it's like these hospitals actually considered, perhaps they are named differently when on the payslip you've been paid differently, but then in reality these are linked. So, and of course, these are you've been only working there for a couple months' time. Nothing is more than 24 months. So these are considered temporary as well. And of course, if you're a locum doctor, like qualified locum doctor, be self-employed or you're running a limited company, this rule also apply. Okay, so this another scenario is what if you travel, say you're based in London, but you have to travel to Manchester and stay overnight just for work, then that is allowed. Like if you're driving a car, make sure you record your business journey because you've been claiming mileage. And if you travel by train, public transport, make sure you have the receipt with you as well. And if you do stay overnight for work, even your food, your accommodation, these are allowed as well, because that's necessary for work. When you are there, it becomes necessary for you. You have to buy food, you have to stay there, pay for the accommodation. So that becomes necessary. So in this case, that is allowed. Okay, so when it comes to when you can claim like your food, there's another rule, like very similar to our 24 and 40% rule. The other number, like in this case, when you can claim for food, the number you have to remember, that is 5 and 5. So that stands for if you work somewhere which is more than 5 miles of your normal workplace and you're working there for more than 5 hours, then in that case, you're able to claim subsistence as well. So 5 and 5. So that is some rule you can remember, and when it comes to assessing whether or not you can claim this or not. So travel to some other places, and you incurred like food and meal expenses. But of course, most of cases like entertainment or meals can be gray area, and travel as well. So I think in a bit I will just talk through when you can or how you can make your travel tax deductible. But I will talk about that in a bit. Before I talk about that, of course, like food, like entertainment or food, it's again a gray area as well. So of course, if you do stay overnight somewhere for work, then that is definitely allowed. But what if you say it's part of a business, you have to go networking, the food expenses are incurred as part of your networking to find the prospects as part of your marketing, then in that case, it can be allowed as well. So as long as it is clearly saying it's necessary for your business, for you to run business this way, to go lots of networking, to meet a lot of people, to wine and dine a lot of people in order to get more business. So make sure you do document that. So that's when you can make your, when sometimes that food, these entertainment expenses can be allowable. But of course, if the food or entertainment, that is for your staff, that is part of your payroll cost as well. So again, for your business tax purpose, that is allowed as well. Okay, so finally, I'd like to talk about the travel expense. So I think before I mentioned how to make your travel tax deductible, in this case, perhaps people will consider like, what if you travel overseas for holiday? Can you make it deductible? Well, if that's just for holiday, for fun, for personal enjoyment, that's not. But what if you have your favorite location and you travel to that location in order to expand your business, in order to do some market research, or you are trying to find some networking events to find some prospects or potential business partners, then that can be considered as a business expense because that's necessary for you to expand your business over there, to earn more income, so you can pay more tax to the taxman. So if you do that, if you travel somewhere to your favorite destination with the intention, and also do a research as well, research for some networking events, research for the possibilities of finding a business partner or prospects over there, or do some upfront research on the market over there. So you have some purpose, like some business, give you some business purpose when you do go travel. Okay, so of course I do have some other little videos in my YouTube channel that I talk about, how you can make your travel tax deductible. Be free to find that as well. I also put a link as well if you do either watch on YouTube or you watch a replay here. Okay, so just to recap, today I'm talking about travel and subsistence. First of all, if that's your normal commute, that's not allowed. And secondly, if that's between your normal workplace to a temporary workplace, make sure the 24 and 40% rule of temporary workplace, then that bit of travel is allowed. So make sure you have your travel, public travel receipts, or your business mileage if you're driving in a car. Then make sure then you have that in hand to claim your travel expense. And if you do travel somewhere overnight, stay overnight for work, or even like travel 5 miles, more than 5 miles away from your normal workplace, and you work there for more than 5 hours, then you are able to claim food as well. Of course, you stayed overnight there, you can claim your hotel. And again, for food, there are some circumstances that you can be allowed as a business expense, and same as travel. There are some circumstances that the travel costs can be allowed as business expense. So in reality, I think that's the beauty of like the tax rule, beauty of the gray area. This is, by the way, this is not to bend the rule, not try to, to do some tax avoidance. But in reality, the tax rule is there to help you to pay less tax. And in fact, almost everything can be tax deductible under the right circumstances. So as long as you document it properly, you have your situation, your circumstances allow that to be tax deductible, then why not? Don't miss out the opportunity. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say about travel and subsistence today. And of course, if you do have any particular questions on travel and subsistence or on tax at all, be free to let me know. And also, I am on Facebook. I have a private Facebook group that is called Tax Deductible Lifestyle Tribe. So I put the link below, and if you are watching on YouTube, the link below as well. So be free to request to join. Not just you can connect with me, but also we have financial experts, we have business experts who can help you to earn more money and build your wealth. Okay, again, I hope you find this one useful. Thank you very much for listening, and I shall see you very soon. Bye now.